Hi, Emily here, another Talking Trips. We're going to go over the fifth season stake. It's the race that was handicapped last week for opening day at Oaklawn Park. Went off as the eighth race. Probably a short video. I mean, there's really not much to talk about, and the purpose of these videos is to do it as a handicapping tool. Look at our past results, not so much, oh, we had that one and it worked out the way I thought. So, really straightforward race. Results here, the 9 won the race. Domain's Wrap, 8-1 winner. And then everything else was pretty formful and kind of ran to way we projected in the handicapping video. I have the plot pulled up right now. Pretty much ran as the plot, except for the 10 Mr. Z, which probably was the most exciting, interesting trip. A tough one to kind of gauge something from, but we'll get into that. I'll pull up the grid, and this is just sorted from results, and then I filtered it from first to ninth. You can either to get this for optics users. It should be in the day after, the next day, sometimes that evening. You can either type in the race date up at the top, or I kind of got lazy here and just did current year since we only have one race this year. This puts the horses in order again. Our speed figure grade, our speed figure, optics note grade, keyword, etc. So the winner here, number 9, Domain's Wrap, almost 9-1 winner. Got a B+ wide setup close. I think it's important at Oaklawn, this horse is wide every step of the way. That a lot of times at Oaklawn being wide, especially, kind of like 3 to 5 path, is not necessarily a bad thing. It just kind of depends on the day. So I don't necessarily, I'm not going to call it a bias, but I think it's not necessarily negative to where you see in a running line a horse was like 4 or 5 wide and you're like, wow, they lost a lot of ground. Sometimes at Oaklawn that's not necessarily a bad thing. So this horse was really wide. It was wide on the backstretch. The outside paths were good. Had the right pace and clear path to run at. After the race, trainer was interviewed. He suggests that if this 9-year-old horse who just looked like a 4-year-old winning this race, that if he comes out of the race well, he'll point to another Oaklawn Park stake. So, hopefully this horse does come out of the race and training well. He's really cool, cool horse, and great job by the trainer. Just really nice win, really nice horse. The favorite here, I expected this horse to take a little bit more money, but still went off as the favorite. It was pretty heavy in the pick 3 pools, pretty heavy favorite there. He based a pocket trip, kind of had a little bit of flow late, running past the 7 and 3, who dueled for the lead throughout. He kind of finished a little bit better once he got into the clear, but no match for the winner, and definitely a clear second. Taking nothing really to take away from this horse. He kind of runs an even race. No excuse, not a bad race. So, in form going forward, not something that you kind of upgrade, downgrade. That's important. I'll back up a little bit. That's important when doing trips. I think people get caught up in the, what happened and the trouble and the steady. That really looking at trips, you should analyze this horse's performance, whether that horse is going to improve, regress, or stay the same. And if you can figure that out, that is the key to doing trip notes. The rest of it is kind of secondary, right? I mean, they play a factor. It's definitely important, but that is the part that is missed the most, and it's difficult when you're doing these races. So keep that in mind. Think about it as a performance. Improve, regress, or stay the same. And that's why we do the grades. That's why we do the trip notes. That's why we don't do spot notes, here and there, because the horse's form line is going to give you so much information about that horse. All right. We'll move back through. The 7 and 3, these horses, they both dueled all the way throughout, and same speed figure. We'll start with the 7 since he nosed out the 3. This is the horse that I used to key on. I thought this horse would be kind of overlooked, 9-2. Got 5, almost 5.5 to 1 on that horse. Dueled outside. He got a little headstrong early. Out of the gate, there was a couple horses to the inside and outside, and so the jock didn't get cued. He just kind of let him do his thing, and the 7 and 3 hooked up on the front end. They set a pretty fast pace. Really decent pace for this type of race, and at Oaklawn Park at California it would be pretty average, but here was a pretty quick pace, and I thought both were very game. Again, they just dueled all the way down to the wire, kind of not giving an inch, and the 7 prevailing late. So give them a little bit of grit, but can't take anything away from the 3, who dueled inside. And again, like I said, outside pass maybe a little bit better, but not, not impossible to win inside. We had some inside winners. Dueled every step of the way. So good race. The number 5, he comes as we talked about, and as you can see on the plot here, down in quadrant 4, always comes with that late run. He definitely had to do that today. Trouble start, so he broke a step slow and completely had his hind end kind of knocked out from under him. Had to recover. Raced inside, angled out in the stretch, finished full of run. That is who he is. I'm curious, as we talked about these horses as they get older, sometimes they go out of their they start to lose a little bit of gait speed, so that would be a concern with this horse, but otherwise, he's in form, he showed up, he knows what he needs to do as a racehorse. Number 8, as we talked about in the video, pretty common, and that's the way he ran, just kind of real even, plotty, just doesn't, we ride the drop, he just doesn't fit at this level. He's just a cut below. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the trip, just kind of faded, just not on the same level. The one horse, he's coming off a little bit of layoff. We can see that 62 days. Maybe it's a prep. He showed a little bit of run, made a mild move on the backstretch. I couldn't really give him that much more. I looked at this horse because I wanted to pay extra attention to the younger horses that had a little bit more upside. But mild move. Maybe he gets something out of the race, but nothing other than that. The number 4, he broke slow, and he's the one that made contact with the 5 for Greater Glory. Stepped slow and had contact with the brake, and that put him not in a good position. So again, referencing the other video, this is a horse that does not like to race inside of horses. He likes to be outside in the clear. So once he broke slow and he's behind that first flight, getting dirt kicked in his face, this horse is no handle. Not handling the track, not handling the kickback. You can see him right out of the gate going into that first turn. He's just kind of hopping over the course. Just doesn't seem to be handling it whatsoever. So, and then it was kind of a no push late. So, maybe you upgrade this horse that he didn't get his trip, but this horse needs that trip. The Jose didn't do anything wrong. I mean, just that's how this horse runs. Like I said, the most interesting trip was Mr. Z. Now, Mr. Z took a bad stumble out of the gate, went right to his nose and knees, and then he was carried really wide on the first turn. So lost a lot of energy trying to get up to the front on that first turn. And then he was kind of chasing wide, that 5-6 path. He was even outside of the number 9 at times. So really wide trip, trying to progress to the lead, and under a drive, hitting into the first turn, not able to keep up. I did write in the extended comment here that it's a borderline excuse, and really a borderline excuse because, I'd want him to show more, and that would give me a reason to excuse the race versus putting it as C, but completely taken out of his race, right? So we go back to the plot. This is a horse that does his best running on the lead, and when you're carried wide and you're pressing and you stumble, there's a lot going on. So. Again, borderline excuse, probably the most interesting trip. So tough with a horse like this to try to figure out, what to kind of do with them next. But I would expect, he gets back to kind of that front running performance, and with a favorable setup, he could possibly rebound. Again, I tried to look for it. He didn't run. He did not show up. He had some things that were working against him. So. Just keep that in mind. Again, not an excuse, but pretty darn close. So we'll kind of look back at, I filtered this, races in the last 180 days, one of our new filters that I just absolutely love. And you can just kind of see, I'll go through this quickly, kind of going bottom to top, pulls out, 3 to 5 races per horse. You can just kind of see. So even discreetness, where he's got that prep, kind of moving forward. Code West took that jump forward, ran a good race. It's kind of about where we projected this horse, mid to high 90s. Pinson, again, I wonder if I have one. That was the Delta trip, right? Talked about being outside. Yeah, dueling outside. Again, kind of in that range. Pocket Flow, Smack Smack. He had some races back. Again, I only did the last 3 months. Inside Straight, we talked about his speed figure a little bit more, so how this number, this 94, was pretty legit, and how Dalmore came out in the Grade 3 Sand Pass well, and he ran it, I'm trying to go off memory here, ran a 97, so this horse kind of backed it up, similar effort, and that's what I projected this horse to do, and I thought that would be good enough to win. The winner, 101, so big effort from this horse. Again, this guy real plotty, kind of the same, runs the same race every time. And then, you know, Mr. Z, he's just kind of an inner outer. All right, quick review over that race. If you didn't watch the video before, I think it's a good exercise in handicapping. A lot of these videos, you know, even though we talk about that race and after it's run, and I try to fill up a lot of information in there to use it, even though it might not be for that race. You can take that information and use it for your handicapping next time. All right, thanks for watching. Support the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to try to keep uploading content throughout the week, and thanks for the support.